If we were to think of the future, of what the world looks like a decade from now, what would we see? We would see 800 million more people living on our planet, more innovative, electrified, and automated products, and a continued challenge for resources. We would see a climate that is testing the limits of our quality of life and threatening the lives of all future generations. But we would also see the major contributors to that climate change transitioning rapidly, almost frantically, to decarbonization. If current government targets are held, almost all new vehicles in most major jurisdictions of the world will be fully or partially electric, and most of the new power produced in the world would come from renewable or from low-carbon sources. But when we think of the present, of what the world looks like today, what do we see? How do we think about the chasm that exists between our world of today and our world of tomorrow, in terms of environmentally sustaining materials and technologies? At Neo Performance Materials, we see an inflection point. As a global engineering and manufacturing leader in rare earth magnetics and critical materials for the net zero transition, we understand the inflection points of the present that determine the vector of change that our future world needs. Rare earth magnets are one of the linchpins to our world's transition to green technologies. Rare earth magnets drive the most powerful and most energy-efficient motors in the world today. In automotive terms, rare earth magnets are to motors what lithium and cobalt are to batteries. When you use 2 kilograms of rare earth magnets in the traction motor of an electric vehicle, you save about 20% of the battery size for achieving the same range. It is no coincidence that 85% of EV motors today use rare earth magnets. When you use 1,000 kilograms of rare earth magnets in an offshore wind turbine, you make the generator more efficient, more grid compatible, and less dependent on frequent maintenance. When you use rare earth magnets in water circulation pumps in green buildings, you save up to 30% of the energy consumed by those pumps. Numerous examples exist of how rare earth magnetics are driving the most energy efficient and powerful motors in the world today. Today, rare earth and rare earth magnetics are dominated by China, and Neo proudly operates in China and has a long history of successful operations and partnerships in China, right in the heart of the rare earth industry. China separates about 80% of the world's rare earths today, produces about 90% of the world's rare earth magnets, and is the global leader in research and development and technologies around rare earths. But climate change is a global issue, and automotive is a global industry. All regions of the world are focusing on ways to create more geographic balance and to grow the industry globally. In Europe and North America, both industry and governments are mobilizing around this existential inflection point. Electric vehicle OEMs are recognizing that it is challenging to have such concentration in a single jurisdiction for their motor magnets. The EU government introduced the Critical Raw Materials Act, setting targets for OEMs to support localized supply chains. And US and Canadian governments have mobilized billions of dollars in incentives for nearshoring of manufacturing. So what does this mean to Neo? Neo is a global company. We proudly operate in China, but equally in other regions of Asia, in Europe, and in North America, where we serve our customers relentlessly in each of these jurisdictions. Neo is the best positioned global rare earth magnetics company across the value chain and across geographies to be the vector of change to achieve these energy transition goals. We have 30 years of experience and capabilities in rare earth separation and magnetic manufacturing. We are one of the few companies in the world outside of China that can engineer and manufacture rare earth magnetic products. And when it comes to growing the upstream, we are the mining company's development partner of choice. The first call for our partners to sample their materials in our rare earth analytical chemistry labs in Singapore and in Europe. We are not captive to any singular feedstock source. We work with everyone that can and will bring a mine online, and we are ready to provide technical support, to buy, and to process material whenever they are available. We know the automotive industry. We have been in the automotive supply chains for both magnetics and emission control catalysts for more than 3 decades, with more than 50% of our revenue now from these customers. We are the only operator of parallel supply chains both inside and outside of China. We separate rare earths at industrial scale, both in China and in Europe. We develop and manufacture highly engineered rare earth magnetics in China, as well as in the United Kingdom, in Singapore, and in Thailand. And in addition, we have a new rare earth magnet plant under construction now in Estonia, the first in Europe at its scale and at the specifications of European and North American OEMs. We see a rapidly growing market here, and our facilities and expansions will follow in time, both in Europe and North America. Neo is best positioned for growth in supplying additional critical materials that will propel us from today's inflection point to the future we see defined by green technologies. Our strategic assets and know-how in our rare metal segment places us in the supply chains of critical superconducting, superalloy, and computing applications. In Canada and the US, we recycle and process gallium. In Germany, we recycle and refine hafnium and tantalum. And in Estonia, we produce high-purity niobium and tantalum metal products. All of these products are considered critical and strategic materials to many governments and industries around the world. Our customers in automotive, aerospace, medical, renewable energy, and microelectronics count on Neo's unique capabilities in manufacturing expertise. As these industries continue to grow, as ancillaries to our world's transition to net zero, Neo will continue to grow and support this important global goal. While we work hard in the present and are laser focused on the future, we continue to think of what comes next, of what tomorrow is about. Because tomorrow, and every tomorrow after that, we must keep the pace of change that we set today. We must keep building new manufacturing capacity to support more EVs and renewable energy. We must keep innovating our materials and engineering to drive more energy-saving technologies. We must continuously improve our operations to drive more growth and more value. We must, we can, and we will. Neo Performance Materials is driving the future of the energy transition.